Hi there and welcome to another Rowing for Fitness workout. Maybe you use this machine just to stay fit and active. You don't really care about performance and things, and that's what this series is for. What we do is a longer warm-up, 9 minutes long, in order to open up your body and make sure that you're kind of ready for what's ahead. But then the main workout itself isn't actually like a big performance mashed one that you end up lying on the floor at the end. It's one that's designed just to get your heart rate up and your breathing rate up and to just get you into that fitness zone. All right, so today's workout is going to be 11 minutes long and a little bit of a kind of a up and down in terms of intensity, but it's not really that tough. We're just going to be going 20 strokes a minute, 22 strokes a minute, and a little bit of power. So this is really one that's perfect for folks who are maybe coming back after injury or illness, or maybe you're getting on in years and you really don't really want to get into like a 2K time trial. You just want to use this to stay active, and that's what this entire series is perfect for. Okay, so make sure to check out the playlist for all the other rows that I've got on here. All right, so intro over. Let's get into our 9-minute warm-up. And before we can do that, we have to set up our machines. So first up, take a look at where your feet sit on the foot plates, because if your feet are so high that the strap is covering like the bridge, the arch of your foot, then that's going to constrict you as you come forwards, and you're not going to be able to get into a comfortable position, and you're also not going to be able to put in the power when I'm kind of saying about pushing with your legs. So ideally what you're looking for here is to find a height on your foot plates that your strap will cover the balls of your feet. And that should now allow you to get that kind of movement to get into the front of the machine with your shins in a vertical position, which is kind of ideal in terms of position, but also comfort as well. All right, so get your feet set. Next up, go to the resistance on your machine, and for this warm-up, I want you to put it down at the very minimum that you can. So on my Avaron, I've got it set to 1. If I was using the Concept 2 with the Avaron app, I'd have the lever set all the way down to the bottom. So just as little resistance as you can, okay? This is just about opening up your body, and like I said, the main workout itself isn't a tough one, so you don't need to kind of really prep your muscles and things. Trust me, get through the workout, you'll know exactly what I mean. Right, we're gonna get into the warm-up, and what we're gonna do for the first 30 seconds is all we're gonna do is roll up and down the rail, okay? We're not even gonna pick up the handle. So get yourself ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So here we go. We're just rocking up and down. We're just rocking. Just rocking up and down the rail in order to get our kind of hips moving a little bit. Our knees are moving, but there's no real, obviously there's no force here, because if you pushed hard, you go flying off the back of the machine. Even with the straps, you'd end up lying at the back. So this is just about just moving your body, because this is something that you probably haven't done all day in terms of kind of squats. So just get yourself just moving. And what we're going to do next is hold on to the seat, but watch your fingers here, just in case the roller is right underneath your seat, and then sit up against your hands. Now, I don't want you to be forcing up against your hands, but your hands are here as almost like a parameter for which your body should sit inside. Does that make sense? Your hands are just here as something to kind of help you kind of sit up. And this should be activating your lower back. And don't worry, we're about to start moving our lower back, kind of release it a little bit. So what I want you to do next is put your hands out in front of you and continue to roll. Okay, now what's happening is, because you've got this extra mass in front of you as you come forwards, there'll be a slight pitch forwards of your body, and then as you come back, there'll be a slight pitch backwards. And the important thing here is that you hold that posture, that you're sitting up, not like a door. I don't want you bolt upright. I just want you nice and kind of primed forwards and backwards. Let that, your upper body, hinge forwards and backwards over your hips. And now we're going to start rowing, or pretending to row. Okay, so all I want you to do is arms straight as you come into the front, and then pull into your body as you come into the back. And this will help just kind of mobilize your shoulders. I was almost lost for what that word was just then. But yeah, this will mobilize your shoulders a little bit, and it'll help you with that kind of fluid movement, forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards. And now we pick up the handle, and we continue doing exactly what we were just doing. And just don't worry at all about power here. So I'm coming into the front. All I'm doing is connecting my feet to the foot plates. In fact, if I was sitting down or squatting down in a squat position, I doubt I'd even be putting in enough power at this point to stand up. All I'm doing is I come in, connect my feet, and then send myself to the back. There should be a little bit of tension, force, a little bit of a brace of your hands on the handle as you're going back, but you're really not putting in any power at all here. This is just about activating the muscles through your back, up into your shoulders, because of your feet connecting to the foot plates. Okay, but after this stroke, I do want you to push a little bit harder, okay? And what I want you to find or aim towards, we might not get there in 2 minutes, but you're aiming towards your comfortable, steady state pace. And this is the amount of effort that you put into the machine that you start to feel like you're exercising, but it's not like you're racing and going really hard. The key word here is comfortable. So what you're finding, looking for is a pace that you know you'd be able to hold and still hold a conversation with somebody and it not feel tough. Okay, it's a really, it's one that I kind of go around in circles trying to really kind of describe what it's like, because I know what people are like. I know people, and people like to kind of think, well, the harder I work, the better workout I'm going to get. Not in this series, okay? This is aimed at just getting your body moving, keeping you in that fitness building zone. And the harder you work, yeah, you might think that if you're sweating in a puddle on the floor, that must be a better workout. But not in this series. This is about just mobilizing you, keeping you fit. So, unless of course your goal is, like you are using this to smash out a 6-minute 2K time trial, in which case fill your boots. But if you are just returning from injury, or like I say, you're getting on in years and you're just using this to stay active, find that intensity where your heart rate starts to climb, your breathing rate starts to climb, but you're comfortable, okay? I'll talk more about this in the main session because we're about to run out of our 2 minutes. I'm going to get into a little bit of drills. So, sit at the back of the machine and just row with your back and arms. And don't worry at all here, again, about force, about power. All I want you to do is swing your back, pull in your arms, then out with your arms and rock forwards again. And really try and think about, if you can, if you have the flexibility to do so, about pivoting forwards, pivoting backwards, hinging back and forth over your hips, rather than it being kind of curling like a turtle into the front. And then make sure that you are swinging first and pulling last on the stroke. Because so many people think this is a pulling sport, that it should be about pulling the handle as hard as you can. But it's not. It's about your feet and your back first. You only pull to the finish. You don't pull from the front. Okay, one more here. We're going to do the opposite of this. That means rolling into the front with arms straight and the forward tilt. And again, just connect your feet. All I want you to do here is kind of almost tap your feet down. And what you're looking to do here is, as your feet touch the foot plates, that's when your hands feel the tension of the machine, okay? This is about timing, really. It's about position and timing. It's about teaching you to keep your arms straight at the front rather than pulling, but it's also about pushing your feet at the same time your hands connect. Okay, so if you had a mirror in front of you or even the Avaron screen, you should just see your arms connect as your feet do. Like, you'll feel your feet and then look to see that your arms are connecting at the same time. Okay, we're going to do 2 more like this. Then we're going to take 1 foot out of the straps, put it on the ground, okay? But put it on the ground, don't leave it waving in the air. And then continue rowing full strokes. So you'll rock back onto your heels at the back and forward onto your toes at the front. And then let the foot that's in the straps, feet, like this is the one that's connected, that's keeping you the power going in. So don't go too fast here if you do have any stability issues though. Okay, swap feet. I don't want you to be like a sinking ship, lilting to one side because you've only got one leg strapped into the machine. But this is still about kind of feeling connected to the seat as you come forwards, and then it's opening up your hips and allowing you to get into that forwards tilt because you've only got one leg strapped in. You don't have two sets of muscles and tendons kind of binding you up and holding you back. Last one here, and then we're going to finish off this warm-up by just going back to that comfortable steady state pace. So using everything that we've just been working on, arms straight at the front, try and keep that forwards tilt and hold it as you connect your feet to the machine, and only pulling in with the handle at the back of the machine. And if you might find that your comfortable steady state now, when you look at your speed, is 1 or 2 seconds faster than it was last time round. And that's because of the drill work we've just been doing with the arms only, etc., that has helped with your timing and your mobility a little bit, and means that you're able to put in a little bit more force, but still, importantly, remain comfortable. Last stroke for me. Okie doke. So, have a quick drink, have a little wiggle of your backside on the seat to release the pressure of your sit bones onto your glutes, or stand up and do the same. And I'm going to describe exactly what it is that we're doing today. All right then, so today's main workout is going to be 11 minutes long. And although your machine may be set at resistance 1, and you can leave it there if you wish, if you want to bump it up a little bit, then please do. Not so much that you're really having to heave against it, but if you want a little bit more kind of tension here, then feel free to do that within however you want to work. All right, that's that warning over. So the workout itself is going to be a mixture of 3 different things. We're going to do 20 strokes per minute at comfortable steady state. We're then going to push a tiny bit harder with our feet to take us up to 22 strokes a minute. And we're going to do a little bit of power work. Now, before you turn off and find a new video, what I mean by power work is that we're going to be doing that comfortable steady state, 20 strokes a minute, but then for 30 seconds, what I want you to do is push harder with your feet, but hold that 20 strokes per minute. How hard you push with your feet? Well, that's entirely up to you, but you should at least see your pace go up as you push harder. All right, so if you're ready, you're comfortable, you've had a quick drink, we'll get started with our main session in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So we're starting at that comfortable steady state, 20 strokes per minute for 2 minutes. And you may have recovered quite nicely after that warm up and you're like, oh, I feel fresh. And so what you might want to do is just try and aim for the same pace you were rowing in the warm up first, and then see if you can actually go a little bit faster, yet still remain in that comfortable zone. Because warm-ups are like that, where you go through the warm-up and you're like, oh, this is feeling a bit tough. But a lot of it is just because your body has only just started moving. And then once you've gone through that warm-up and you're taking a small break, your system then refills its energy banks, its ATP, ready to do some more. And so you can actually find that you're re-energized. It's almost like you've been given a turbo boost when it comes to your main session. That's why a warm-up is so important. Just to get your body ready, prepared in that kind of turbo boost way. And it's also why I split my workouts up. I don't just gonna go warm up, all right, have a quick drink, and we're off. I do chat about the main session for, 45 seconds or so, to make sure your body has that recharge. It's like when you get your air conditioning recharged at the garage. That's what the break in between the warm-up and the main session is like. Okay, so in 3 strokes time, we're gonna just slightly increase the stroke rate to 22. Okay, so here we go. What I want you to do is push a tiny bit harder with your feet and then recover a little bit quicker. You can follow me for stroke rate. if you're like, oh, I can't get into the groove here. And don't worry if you're seeing 21, then 23, 22, and then 24. If you're not used to holding stroke rates and trying to row to a kind of a rhythm like this, it just takes a little while to really kind of get used to it. Some things are unfamiliar, and so they feel weird. But the more you do them, the more familiar they get, the less weird they'll feel. Okay, we're going to do 2 more here, and then we're going to return to that comfortable steady state. So here we go. Back down to 20 strokes a minute. And this is the easy one when it comes to stroke rate, because you can just count up in 3s on your monitor. If you've got a timer in front of you, then it's just 1 stroke every 3 seconds, and that's what gets you to 20 strokes a minute. But you also want to look at the ratio of drive to recover. So you drive for 1 second, you recover for 2. And that's the dance we do with the machine. Drive for 1, recover for 2. And then let things move for that whole 2 seconds coming forwards. It's not like you drive to the back, hold the handle for 1 second, and then race forwards to the front again. You're always moving, so the handle never really stops for me. Going to the front, turn it right round, then as it touches my chest, I let it just release away from my body again. Same pace you brought it in at, you let it go away at. I like to make lightsaber noises here, where it just goes vroom vroom. Okay? Vroom vroom. Well, that's a bit more like, here's an 80s throwback, but that sound was more like the front of Kit from Knight Rider. So there's a little red light. Vroom vroom. Yeah. Oh, I should go into sound effects. Okay, sorry. After this stroke, we're going to push harder with our feet. So hold your stroke rate, but just push harder. And if you can hold straight arms and the forwards tilt as you push harder here, the power going into the machine from your feet will go up through your back, into your arms, into your hands, into the handle. Last one here, back down to comfortable steady state. Well, that was a quick, it's almost like that 30 seconds caught me by surprise. It started, I was too busy talking about Knight Rider, and then it finished, and I was still trying to talk to you about how the power went through your body. But that's the point. If you can hold your arms straight and that forwards tilt as you push your feet, then the power surges through your body and into the machine. And on the Aviron and on the Concept 2, when you get that connection right and you push harder with your feet, you'll feel the tension, the resistance, the weight of the stroke increase. And what you're doing is you're pushing against it in order to get the power in, but that will still help you to maintain a nice fluid stroke, kind of stroke rate and stroke drive time. Because if you didn't connect right and you pushed hard with your feet, you just shoot straight to the back really quickly. Whereas connecting your feet to your hands means that you increase and you hang off the stroke a little bit more. And that, ladies and gents, is how you get your full body workout, is that push from your feet that comes up through your body and into your arms. Right, now, or in 3 strokes time, every 15 seconds, we're going to alternate between 20 and 22. So, I want you to take it up to 22 strokes a minute, push a tiny bit harder. Don't worry if it takes you the whole 15 seconds to find the 22 strokes a minute. All I want to do is just mix up what you're doing here a bit. It's not important if you don't hit it. Last one here, then return to comfortable steady state, 20 strokes a minute. 3 strokes here, and we go back up again. Really quick turnarounds. You ready? So push a tiny bit harder with your feet, recover, tiny bit faster. Your stroke rate should have gone up to 22-ish. One more here. Back down to 20 strokes a minute. And then we're going to hold this for these 15 seconds, but then we're also going to add another minute of comfortable steady state rowing. Ooh. And then after this minute is up, ooh, come on, I'm slightly off time. If I don't see, I'm kind of locked into this 1 stroke every 3 seconds thing. And so if I don't see it, 51, 54, 57, it really throws me. It's a little bit, I should learn to count in 3s when it's not kind of going 3, 6, 9, 12. I should learn how to count 2, 5, 8, but it just throws my little brain. Okay, and then we're going to go back to that power 30 seconds in 2 strokes time. So same stroke rate, but just push harder with your feet. So push, hold your arms straight at the front of the machine, push, only pull at the back. This is where rowing with too high a resistance gets in the way, because you have to start heaving and tugging against the stroke in order to get the machine moving. One more here, and let's go back down to that comfortable steady state. Make sure to keep at that comfortable steady state, though we might have less than a minute to go, but I don't want you to use that as an excuse to just kind of back off the intensity and no longer put in the effort, because we're about to get into a 2-minute cool down. So you'll get your chance to ease off. And there's only 30 seconds to go. It's 10 strokes, less than 10 strokes now, and we'll be all done with this main session. And hopefully you'll feel your body respond to those power strokes and things. Like my lats up here, they're definitely feeling used this morning. Last stroke here. Ooh. So that was it, a nice simple 11-minute row, but by going up and down through intensities, adding a bit of power, hopefully your breathing rate's up, heart rate's up, you've got a little bit of a sweat on, and that's the kind of area that this is meant to aim for. Okay, this is what these workouts are for, and hopefully this will keep you active for the rest of the day. Of course, you can come back and do the same workout again later, or a different one if you're going to like, well, I enjoyed that, I want to do more. It's just here, and it lets you put in the intensity to let you put in the workout that you want to. All right. I am slightly out of breath, which is a good sign. Hence why I kind of ran out of steam at the end of that sentence. So we're going to get into cool down next. Okay, so if you're ready, you've had a drink, and you're comfortable in your seat, we'll get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So I want you just to start for 30 seconds at that comfortable steady state, and then you can just ease off. Because again, the pause between stopping the main session and starting this cool down, your body will have recovered by quite a lot anyway. So you should be able to just return to this pace and then gradually slide into neutral. So you can just back off the push with your feet here, but still, sorry, again, I got lost for my wee words there. Still, make sure and have your arms nice and straight at the front. Make sure you're pushing with your feet. Don't start to limp backwards and forwards. If you're getting to a point where you're just kind of like phoning it in and you're hardly moving now in this cool down, I'd rather you just stopped, to be honest. Because what you're trying to do here is not only let your body cool down after that workout, but you're also consolidating what you've learned about your technique here. The more you can row with something close to a good technique, don't worry, I'm not expecting you to climb on a boat and row down the River Thames or anything and race Oxford or Cambridge. But I want you to row with something resembling a good technique so you get the best workout you can. And the more you focus on rowing with this good technique, the more it becomes your default way to row. It's your muscle memory. The myelin in your brain goes, all right, this is what we're meant to do. So if you're just kind of slapping up and down the rail, you're not teaching your body or your brain anything, and you're not really doing your body any good either. So, right, we are done with the rowing. So we're going to move on to stretching phase next. And here we go then. I should have like a big kind of beacon going. This is how I stretch my body. What follows is the ways that I stretch for me. If any of these you know are not going to be good for you, or if you go through any of these and you start to feel uncomfortable in a bad way, then please stop, do something else. If you know the best way to stretch your own body, do that. Don't just follow me because I'm on here on the machine, okay? So, in fact, I'll start off, I normally start off by doing hamstrings while sitting on the machine, but I'm gonna get down on the floor today to do hamstrings because I don't want to kind of constantly do these and then always say, you can get down on the floor and do this. So stretch how you want to stretch, but this is how I stretch, okay? Here we go then. For hamstrings, get that good posture. This is where the kind of the hands on the seat thing comes from, because if you plant your hands down side by side, then you should be able to get into a good posture. It's harder to kind of, you have to bend your elbows to slump here. So maybe it's just me, maybe I've got gorilla arms, who knows. But yeah, so good posture, and then put your hands in the air, and then all I want you to do is send your body forwards. And there'll be a point, like which is here for me, where you get the stretch down your hamstrings, okay? So toes are pointing up, get stretch in your hamstrings, and then rest your hands on your ankles. Don't grab on and pull yourself, okay? And if you want, you can go back. If you stretch for 15 seconds, fold forwards, and this time, I find that my fingers actually land on my toes. I'm still not pulling, but my fingers landed on my toes because that first 15, 20 seconds I was talking to you for gave me enough of a stretch that I was then able to increase my mobility, and I was then able to touch my toes from that point. So do take a look at kind of just easing off and going back into a stretch to see if you can increase the range of the motion, but never pull yourself, never force it, all right? But while I'm down here, I'm gonna do glutes, okay? So I'll start with the opposite leg. So one leg out, so again, you've got your good posture. Bring your other foot across your body, okay? So you can see that the ankle is in the crook of my knee, hopefully, as long as they're not off screen. And then bring that knee across your body, so I've got a straight line between my face, my knee, and my foot. Hold it in place with your other arm, and I'm gonna be turning away from you the first time, because normally I do this the other way around. And then with one hand behind you, just rotate round, but keeping that knee in across your body. Now, this is about glutes. You can do this as a stretch. If you have your arm on the outside of your knee, and you can rotate even further round. It's a great way to open up your lower back and maybe get a little kind of like, oh, that felt good in terms of like cracking your back. But that's not what we're doing today. We're doing glutes. So you need to make sure and keep that knee across your body and have that rotation round, and you should feel your glute stretching. I'll do it on the other side. So same thing again, foot comes across into my knee, hold it in place, then rest my hand behind me, it's not too far behind me, and then just rotate round. And that rotation here just opens up, it's hard to see, but it opens up the area around the glutes, and then holding that knee against me. Because even like now, it's not about the backhand, I'm not like powering down into that hand. I'm still getting the same stretch, even though I've got little Mr. Wavy hand going on here. The hand at the back is just really about stability, just to keep you. And it's more about this knee and the rotation round, getting that stretch down here into your glutes, okay? So, right, next up, I've got to try and get up off the floor. We're gonna do quads, and I'm not gonna do that one lying on the ground because I want to mix it up a bit, hey. So I'm gonna do this one standing up. You can still do this one lying on the ground. Rest one hand on the monitor for stability, and then flick a foot up behind me, and then hold my heel against my backside with enough of a kind of a pull, enough force that I can feel the stretch down through my quads. There you go. Try and keep if you are doing this on the ground, or even when you're standing up, try and keep a straight line between your face, your shoulders, and your hips down to your knee. I kind of felt just then that my knee was coming forward, so I made sure to kind of straighten up a little bit to get that straight line going. Doing on the ground is just as effective, and it's also less likely that you're going to fall over if you're lying on the ground already. So next, leg, flick, and then resting on the monitor for stability, and then let go. And I've said in other videos that I do like the standing up one because it's unstable. Standing on one leg and doing this starts to recruit the stabilizing muscles in my ankles, and it's always at that point that I fall over. It's almost like my brain says, "Oh, you just had stabilizing muscles, right? We have to show that you have no stabilizing muscles." But it's the difference between using a machine for weights or free weights. A machine will give you the resistance, but it won't recruit all the stabilizing muscles. But that said, if you have a tendency to fall over, I'd rather you did that one on the ground. Right, let's move on to hip flexors next. So start off in a kneeling position if you can. I know not everyone's knees can take kneeling. So you've got both feet behind you. I'm going to go up on my toes again. And then bring one foot forwards. So you should now have a 90-degree angle at the back and the front leg. And what you're going to do is send your body forwards. You're not curling your upper or lower back. You just send your body forwards. And what that does is it opens up this back leg. Okay, so the angle of the back leg is a lot more open. Is that being obtuse? No. Is that right? God, it's been a long time since I did trigonometry stuff for what things are. Yeah, obtuse. And then acute would be, so I've got an acute angle at the front and obtuse at the back. Let us, or answer us on a postcard from all the school teachers out there saying, "Oh my God, please don't teach us, don't try and teach us that stuff. You're wrong, you idiot." And what I'll do, I'll show you I've been too busy talking about maths. I haven't shown you the way to get extra credit for this stretch, but so I'll change feet. It's the same thing again, 1 foot forwards, 1 foot backwards, and then send that body forwards. Now I am resting one hand on the seat here for stability again. Don't feel shy if you want to. I'm going to keep my toes on the ground on this one. This feels quite nice. Then you can add more of a stretch by just raising one hand up in the air. And then that will kind of create a tiny little lean back. And this will kind of give you a chance to really open up that hip flexor a little bit more. Just in case you're kind of like to search, because sometimes with stretching, you need to search for the way that really focuses in the stretch for where you want it to be. If you don't feel it in your hip flexor, then you need to find a way, you need to find out why you're not. Like, is it because, say, go back up onto my toes there, really just so I went, oh, okay, that was a mistake not being on your toes, because now that I'm like this, I can really feel this going down into my hip flexor. So just because you're doing the right movement doesn't necessarily mean you're doing the right movement. There you go, put that in a fridge. We'll move on to forearms next. So put your hands in front of you, push them together, and then bring them down in front of your body so that your thumbs kind of round about sternum height, and your forearms should end up round about parallel to the floor, okay? That's what you're looking for, is that as you come down into that push and they get to parallel with the floor, you should then, as long as you're still pushing your hands together, you should find that your forearms and your wrists will get a nice little stretch from doing this. And your fingers as well, possibly, from pushing together, okay? So you should, as long as you're pushing here, you really should feel it. So that'll help loosen off your forearms if you're kind of feeling anything maybe from the power stuff we were doing today, maybe you felt it, which is why we're going to stretch our shoulders next. So put one hand out straight in front of you so you're a rock star, hey, and then bring it across your body, and then use your other arm, loop it across, and then use that to kind of bring your shoulder further back across your body. So maybe you could only get it straight across, now you're kind of going slightly backwards, and that should then activate a nice stretch in your shoulder. Again, you're not like heaving here in order to make it stretch. At the same time, you're just using your arm to help your shoulder across. You're not kind of going and then moving your entire body around and therefore not getting any stretch into your shoulders. So straight in front of you, jump on Jovi, hey, and then across your body, and then do that. I do have quite a surprising amount of Bon Jovi references in my rows. I mean, being a kind of a 70s, 80s child, or 70s, 80s, 90s, I guess, whatever. And being a rock fan, they were kind of the big things. So they did play a big part in my youth, my growing up. I was what would I have been, about 14 when New Jersey came out. So so they're just, you get to know more about, it's the first time I've spoken about music in this series, to be honest. We'll get to know that Bon Jovi, Van Halen are the kind of the big things in my, Van Halen's been the constant through my life. Bon Jovi I still like, but Van Halen are the, I'll wear my Van Halen Crocs one day in one of these rows and you'll be like, what? Van Halen Crocs? I know, I hate Crocs, but they were Van Halen, so I bought them. Right, we're done with our stretching today. Sorry about that. Hopefully this is just giving you time to have a little drink and pack up while I talk nonsense. Always at the end of these when I say goodbye and whatever, this is the point when you're packing up and you can just like listen to me and go, oh my God, is he going to talk? Is he just going to keep on talking? So anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this one. I really hope you enjoyed it. It's a very, when you think about it, only an 11-minute row, but this has been like a 45-minute workout in total. It's been only like an 11-minute row, but we're like around about 40 minutes for the video. So it just shows how important the warm-up and the stretching at the end are. And then that little kind of section in the middle of the main row is just about kind of keeping you up. So yeah, it's only really been about like an 11-minute. It's been like an 11-minute workout, but actually this is like a 40-minute video because of the warm-up and the stretching, but it's all fantastic and good for you. So I really hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, make sure and check out the other videos that are here on the playlist, and then hopefully you'll enjoy them as well, or any of my other videos that are up here too. Until the next time, row well, be well, bye-bye.